that it's the study of all things human. And by that, I mean sociologists study individuals and structures and social groups. So anywhere there are people interacting with other people or people who are affected by other people, even when they're sitting at home alone, sociology is doing something in there.
For me, sociology is about understanding why people do what they do. We're not the only discipline that does that, but I think we have a unique perspective on trying to answer that question of why people choose the lines of actions that they do.
It's the study of how in people's contexts, their neighborhoods, their schools, their families, the subculture they belong to affect their behavior. It's about the power of context.
It provides a lens for seeing the world, a lens that maybe we don't naturally have, and that's a lens for trying to understand how people's behaviors are impacted and shaped by forces outside of them.
It gives you a way to analyze society in a systematic way based on empirical evidence, so it's not just opinion, what you think about something. You know, it's a way to bring a little light into a situation in which there often is a lot of heat. There often is a lot of fire and anger and angry voices, but it's a way to kind of step back from that and say, okay, let's try to analyze this and see what's going on here.
One of its main strengths is looking at inequalities, and especially very subtle inequalities. Inequalities change over time and across historical eras, and so sociologists really look at what kind of processes reinforce those.
Sociology can help us to understand what happens as our world becomes more and more complex. And as the global population becomes more and more integrated.
Sociology allows us to apply a historical lens where we can really think about the foundations of our society and the inequalities and divisions that produced along racial, class, and gender lines.
A big problem that sociologists have been interested in is social mobility, or the lack of it. People tend to end up in this similar social class position as their parents. You know, some of it's about how much money parents have, some of it's about how much knowledge parents have to help their kids get ahead, some of it's about social networks. All of those things, I think, are best dealt with by sociologists.
Sociology holds society accountable for a lot of social ills by making them visible. So I think sociology is important because it makes these types of inequalities or invisible social structures visible. In the process, it sort of provides society with a roadmap of how we might be able to facilitate change.
What I think sociology can do for society is to offer policy-relevant research.
The issues of economic inequality and political polarization today require as much perspective as we can gain on them. And so sociology, I think, is uniquely positioned by talking to people and taking a whole range of data and information sources and trying to make sense of the lived experience that people have.
Racial segregation and poverty and inequality are certainly not going away on their own. It's important that sociology and other fields continue to pursue research on the causes and consequences of these incredibly important problems.
It's important for sociology and sociologists to serve as a magnifying glass and really highlight the issues that are relevant in our society and make society as a whole understand how these issues are impacting larger populations than we realize.
So much of what's going on with our political climate and the rhetoric right now is all about talking about individual people or individual communities as the source of issues. And the reality is these are collective problems that have structural basis. And sociology is fundamentally helping us understand how those inequalities are shaped, what is going on with structure that's shaping them, and what we can do about it.
I think right now it's a perfect opportunity for sociologists to make a contribution to the discourses that are going on.